My name is Efe Cole. I'm originally from Sierra Leone, West Africa, and I'm a survivor of female genital mutilation. It happened when I was 11 years of age. My stepmom and my father decided that, well, my stepmom actually manipulated my father to have me and my older sister, who was 13 at the time, to undergo female genital mutilation. What these people, I call them these people, our people, my mom didn't go through it, but because she was no longer with my dad, she was still bitter from the separation, so she said she didn't care. Keep in mind that my father was Catholic. I was born and raised Catholic. I went to confessions and all that. But yet still they took it upon themselves to torture me for the rest of my life. I stand before you today, 44 years of age, and I still suffer from post-traumatic stress disorders brought on by this practice. I know there are women who are in favor of it, and my question to them is, do you really enjoy sex? Because if you enjoy sex the way God intended for women to enjoy sex, you wouldn't put your daughter through what you went through. Thank God I have a son, but I'm praying that one day I get pregnant and have a daughter, and I'll shield her from this. They tied my hands behind my back. I was blindfolded. The woman who was about 3 or 4 times my size sat on top of me. I didn't know what a clitoris was. At age 44, I'm just now beginning to learn about the clitoris because, thank God, I had clitoral reconstruction surgery done in October in California. They take that away from you. And the worst part of it is they actually pay these cutters to torture you for the rest of your life. When I had my son, I had to be given an episiotomy because of the scar in the form. The elasticity of the vagina was no longer there. So I had to be cut open again. I've been raped multiple times. I've been sexually molested as a child. And I know the difference between rape and female genital mutilation. When I shower, I'm not reminded of the day I was raped. But when I shower every day, I'm reminded that something is missing. My hoo-ha has been tampered with. I wrote in my autobiography that it was type 1 that was done where they removed the clitoris. But I found out that it was actually type 2. They removed part of my labia. And I am willing to be embarrassed, to be humiliated if it will make any difference to anybody in here who would want to see what a mutilated vagina looks like. I'll be willing to take off my clothes so you can check, so that you can really see the damage that was done. And no matter how much reconstruction they do on you, it can never reverse the process. It can never reverse the process. And that's why I'm doing all I can so that little girls all over the world wouldn't have to go through what I went through, wouldn't have to go through what I'm still going through at age 44. And now that I had the surgery, so that if I get pregnant, I will not have a vaginal birth. I have to have a C-section. Because even though it has been reconstructed, it's not the same as the way God created me. They took that away from me, and I will never get that. Psychologically, physically, sexually, emotionally. This is not a culture thing. It's a ritual that's done on these girls. And they brainwash you until if you talk about it, you'll die. And that's why people are scared to... Sorry, I get panic attacks. That's why people are afraid to talk about it. Because... These kids are afraid to talk about it because nobody wants to die. They believe that, yes, if you talk about it, you'll die. I started talking about it when I was 11 just to prove that they were wrong. So I believe that everybody involved, the carters, the person that put you in the taxi, the car to take you to this place, they all should be brought to justice because nobody is really doing anything for us to protect these girls. I'll take any questions if you have any questions for me.
Representative Neto.
Thank you. I don't really have a question for you, but I have a statement. You are the most beautiful person I have ever met. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I wish you wouldn't have to. I wish we could just decide on these without you having to speak. But you are the most beautiful lady I've ever met.
Thanks.
Representative Garish.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for being here. I have several questions, the two off the top of my head, and if you can answer. You mentioned a little bit about transporting, so specific to your case and what happened to you, how many people were involved with the FGM for you? In your opinion, can it be performed by one person? And did it happen at your home, or were you taken elsewhere? I know that's a lot, so if you need to hear those again, I'm happy to do that. So the first one was how many people were involved in your procedure?
You mean the actual cutting?
Yes.
I was blindfolded. I don't know. There were dozens of them. When you get there, they put you into this hut because it's not done in your home. They take you to the bushes. So in case any of you hemorrhage to death, they leave you there, they bury you there and tell your parents that because you were a witch, that's why you died, not taking into consideration that you hemorrhaged to death. So they take you from the home and into the bushes where it's secluded. And you undress, like, in a breath suit. And then they bring you out blindfolded. And if they knew that what they were doing is right, why would you blindfold me? Because you know that I would come after you if I know exactly the person that actually sat on me and was handed the weapon of death, like I call it, the razor blade. All of them should be held responsible, from my stepmother who initiated the process, whose idea it was, down to the last woman who was there chanting and singing after they've drank so much alcohol, which was why if you see my vagina, you will be scared. What they were supposed to cut off, they didn't. Things that they were supposed to leave, but maybe they were supposed to cut everything off, I don't know. But all of them, usually it's dozens of these women. Men are not allowed in there, but it's dozens of women who are actually involved in the process.
Okay, so clearly it's not your opinion that one person could possibly do this.
No, it has to be more than one. It's more than one person. It's a community of women.
And I don't mean to be ignorant about your comment to the bushes, so this means that you're not taken to any sort of medical facility or someone else's home or residence. This is an outside.
Correct. It's in the bushes where they have this hut built with zinc, and they have not even toilet facilities. If you want to go to the toilet, you use a paint can, and somebody was responsible for disposing that. But yes, you're taken hundreds of miles away from where you live into the bushy, secluded area, and nobody is allowed to come see you except women who've gone through it themselves, because to them it's a secret society.
I was there when you were in the Hall of Flags. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it just refreshed me with regard to, did you say that you and your sister were taken at the same time, or was it separate incidents?
It was the same night, the same evening. They do it by age. The oldest go first. And then while they were amputating her clitoris, I was given strict warnings not to look back. So I didn't, because everything, they put fear in these kids. If you do this, you'll die. If you talk about it, your stomach will swell and you'll die. So they told me if you look back, you'll die, because chances are if I look back, I'll see what was being done and I might find a way of escape. So I didn't look back until it was my time to be amputated, and that's when I realized what was.
Any other questions, Senator Searway?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm so glad you came today, because we don't realize how devastating it is till you hear it in person, and we understand how serious it is, but you know from anybody how bad it is. And so, have you looked at both of these bills at all? I don't know if you've had a chance, but I just want...
I haven't looked at, is it 1822?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it in depth, but I've looked at 1819.
Okay. And I just was wondering if you could come to work session and maybe have a chance to look at both and see what you think could be more appropriate to help prevent what happened to you.
I'd be more than happy to.
I think we really would like to hear that from you, and because I have some questions here, and I just know that you have more insight than anybody here. I think that I really appreciate you coming.
I'll be more than happy to.
Thank you.
Representative Corey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Thank you for being here. I've seen horrible things written about the bill's sponsor, Representative Siraki, in the media and sort of everything else for bringing this legislation forward. Do you think any of those things are true, the horrible things that have been written about Representative Siraki?
I don't think the things have been written about her. I was actually appalled that there's somebody who didn't go through female genital mutilation, doesn't have any children to protect from female genital mutilation. She's doing this to protect immigrant children, girls she may never even meet, during her lifetime. But yet still there are people out there who are trying to tarnish her character and make it so that what she's fighting for does not get the attention that it should get. They're making it about her and forgetting about the little girls that are really concerned, that it's really about. I know that there are parents who might say, well, I'm doing it because I love my daughter. My mom did it to me. But ask yourself, the next time you're with your husband, do you enjoy sex? Yes, you may say yes, but is it painful? If you've been mutilated, you may lie and say sex is not painful. I stand here to say that sex is painful. They tell you that it curbs, promiscuity. It was the opposite in my case, because I kept going from man to man, looking for somebody to love me, so to satisfy me sexually, not knowing that it wasn't them. It was with me until I came to America. That's when I actually realized that. So everything that's being said about her, it's not true. I've gotten death threats about women from my country who are for FGM, that if I ever go back to Sierra Leone, they'll stone me to death. I'm going this May to talk about it and see if that will really happen. Well, when I go, I have to report at the American Embassy that, hey, I'm here. But yeah, they say if you come and you talk about that, why are you joining white people to talk about our culture? Why are you joining white people to demean us? We're not inhuman. I'm not joining white people. I'm joining people who care about children, the rights of children and women. And that's why I'm so happy that I got connected with Representative Siraki for all she's done. And if she is a mean white woman, then I want to join her and be a mean black woman, as long as it takes protecting little girls.
Representative Talbot Ross.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing your story and for working with Representative Siraki on this. I just want to find out if you know of any cases of being cut in the state of Maine.
I don't know of any in the state of Maine, but I know in Washington, D.C., and Virginia.
But not in the state of Maine?
I haven't met any, because it's highly Somalian populated, and they don't go out of their... They don't bring other people in, So if they had any Sierra Leoneans here who've done it, then I would know about it.
So just a follow-up question. You're not Somali, though?
No, I'm from Sierra Leone.
Right, so you had it performed on you not being Somali. So outside of the Somali community in Maine, there are other folks who have been resettled here. So have you heard in any of those other communities at all of any new cases of FGM on little girls?
I haven't, but one thing I know is as long as there are immigrants in any country who practice this ritual, I will bet my life on it that it's being done. They may not even take their girls out of the country, what they call vacation cutting, but there are in some instances that I know of where they sponsor these cutters to come to America as if they're coming to visit their granddaughters, and the mothers come together and pay for the person's visas. They pay them when they get here to do the cutting in the basement of their homes. These girls are here in America. They may not be in Maine, but they're here in the United States.
But not in Maine?
I don't know about any in Maine.
Thank you.